The Bison Basketball Show with NDSU head coaches Dave Richman and Jory Collins. The Bison Basketball Show is presented by Gate City Bank for a better way of life.
Griesel with 10 on the shot clock to Nelson for the flush. Excellent job by Nelson. Right to the...
And one of the many big plays all weekend long for David Richman and his Bison basketball team. Boy, it's great to have Grant Nelson back, right? How about that play right there at the rim by the big fella at a Devil's Lake? And home, definitely where the heart is, especially in conference play, especially in the month of February. Welcome to the Bison Basketball Show. My name is Jeff Culhane, here with the head coach, David Richman. Coach, congrats. Big wins against teams that are getting better, obviously. Denver up and coming. Omaha, I know you have a lot of respect for Darren Hansen. And great to be off of the road and playing some games inside the Shield Center.
I'm taking full credit for that Grant Nelson dunk. Everything that's about that play right there, I taught him. There's no question about that, too. But you're right, Jeff. It did feel really good to be home, and we've had a couple stretches. We're in the middle of another stretch like that. But it's exciting. It's February. You can feel the vibe. I was talking to the guys, just getting goosebumps about, you know, it's a great time of year. You can feel hopefully the weather changing a little bit, but Omaha, to their credit, came in and really battled us, and we knew we'd see a different version of Denver than we saw at their place, and so really pleased to take care of business. Also really encouraged, too, that we can continue to grow. Biggest difference schedule-wise, road to home? You've been on the road so much. I mean, the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks in the month of January, I think your team was on the road overall with scheduling changes, et cetera. What's the biggest difference with the home schedule in getting everybody locked in to play the game? Yeah, it is different because you don't have quite as much control the night before of the guys and their activities. And we do have great character, obviously, Jeff. And so by no means am I questioning anything like that with the guys. But it's just a little bit tighter on the road. Now, there's also the familiarity of being at home, too. And so you're splitting hairs a little bit. Our guys, have, to their credit, have found success in both places. We've dropped a couple at home, which is uncharacteristic. And some things as we go down the stretch, we need to make sure we're locked in and taking care of business.
Didn't do that this last weekend. It started Thursday night with the Omaha Mavericks in town. As Coach said, Darren Hansen has got a lot of respect, longtime head coach at the University of Nebraska, Omaha. And this was a matchup where you got off to a great start to begin this basketball game, and you also were able to get Andrew Morgan back as well, which was great to see.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really proud of the way the guys came out, and we've done that. You know, we've played in spurts and different types of spurts, whether it be at the start or whether it be maybe a stretch in the second half too. But you can see, Jeff, you know, as we talk about a vision of where we want to go, where we want to be at the end of February, and obviously in March. Andrew Morgan's a big part of that. That is a talented, big man, big player for us, and a big key, I think, as we go forward for our successes is spelling us off the bench. You know, Rocky was terrific against Denver, but to have that extra punch, you have that extra size is going to be really key. And again, you saw different parts from different guys throughout the course of it. And Andrew was certainly a big part of that.
Seeing Jarius Cook knock down big shots. How about Tyree Edey, Coach, playing some of his best basketball of his career right now?
No question, Jeff, and just a great point, too. I mean, you go back to after our Kansas City loss, in the stretch that we've been on here, Tyree has been our most consistent guy, and it doesn't come in just the form of what you see in the box score. It's who he's defending at the other end of the court for us. It's his leadership. It's the confidence and swag that he plays with and then instills in our guys. Really proud of Tyree as he's winding down his career as a Bison for him to be playing some of his best basketball.
This is a tight game as Omaha didn't make it easy on you, even though Omaha trying to gather more wins and maybe not where they want to be. Our Gate City Bank game recap, you were able to pull away in the end and finish him off. Kind of walk us through the last 5 or 6 minutes or so.
Yeah, I knew we'd see that version of Omaha, Jeff. You know, you go back to, they had a terrific win their last game out against Kansas City, and so they were bringing in some confidence, and that's what you're going to get from a Darren Hansen coach team. To our guys' credit, we weren't always as sharp, but we were able to find a way, and most importantly, this time of year, it's about finding a way to get the W's. But again, from a coach's perspective, still encouraging that there's plenty of teaching opportunities as we go forward.
Great game for Sam Griesel. Rocky, they made it tough on him, 7.7 rebounds, but Sam stepped up his first double-double of the season, 17 and 10.
Yeah, you can see, again, on the graphic here, 2 of the big 3, and I think that's that piece that's still really encouraging. You can add that third name sometime here, and when those three are all clicking and being on the same page, that's that best version of us. But Sam was great, a double-double, obviously, and we talked about Tyree, his consistency and versatility at both ends of the floor.
Yeah, Tyree Eady, we'll talk about him more coming up in our next segment, playing his best basketball. Some of his best basketball with what he's doing, not only offensively, but on the defensive end of the floor as well. Well, it was a quick turnaround as the Bison one day, and then you're moving on with the way the schedule sets up here in Summit League play. When we come back on the Bison Basketball Show, we'll take a look at a little Midwest madness. Hope you got some tater tot hot dish while you're at the Shield Center on Saturday. Denver was in town. That's on the way.
Better starts with convenience. Our 43 convenient locations make running errands easy. Better starts with trust. You can trust that your pre-approval is guaranteed on closing day, which is one less thing to worry about. Better starts with saving you money. No ATM fees and no minimum balances mean how you spend your money is up to you. Because at Gate City Bank, better starts with you. And this means better ways to brighten your day. Gate City Bank, for a better way of life.
Another rock and roll weekend.
Burgers, better with Pepsi.
This one's for every sports fan who just spent the entire game explaining to someone the entire game. You've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar.
Back on the road for NDSU men's basketball this weekend, Thursday, Saturday, Western Illinois, Thursday night. And on Saturday, it's a Saturday night game at St. Thomas, Coach. So as we're talking about getting back home, well, we'll get you right back on the road, back on the plane, back on the bus, and two great challenges once again in conference play.
No question, Jeff. And again, it's that time of year where you're up, down, and around at home, turn around a couple days later, you're on the road, and that's all part of league play and exciting time for us. We got a little bit of a sour taste in our mouth from the last time we played, Western. They're playing significantly better in the past than they have in the past, and that's a credit to Coach Jeter and his staff. And then we know about the St. Thomas deal and them being brand new in the league and them having, it hasn't maybe been as of late, but they've had some early successes. They play a different style, a fast, pace style that, makes you catch up to their pace a little bit. So certainly some tremendous challenges for us on the road.
Yeah, that Western Illinois game, as you talked about, not a great taste, a 90-79 loss in overtime. What comes to mind right away going into Macomb and what Rob Jeter has done with that group in year number 2?
Well, what comes to mind right away, it would be nice to have Grant Nelson and Andrew Morgan in that. They have some size. They have a lot of size. And they've got the ability, Jeff, to beat you in both parts. And we've talked about this. They can beat you at the rim with Barasek and Pearson. But also they got some guys that can really spread it and spray it too. And so they challenge you of how you're going to guard the post, whether you're going to double, whether you're not going to double. And again, credit to them. I thought they played extremely well. They were locked in. I don't think they saw the best version of us from a lot of standpoints. We'll be excited for that opportunity, make no mistake about it.
Well, speaking of best versions, back on January the 10th, the NDSU men played on a Monday night. It was the night of the College Football Playoff National Championship game out in Denver, and that was one of the best versions of Bison basketball we've seen, beating Denver on the road 87-69. Got them back this weekend on a Saturday. And, Coach, as you mentioned, you knew they'd be teed up and ready to go, and they obviously competed with you for a full 40.
Yeah, you know, I got a lot of respect for what Jeff's doing early in his career, and he's stressed to us, too, like, you know, that we're the standard of the program based on our successes. And that's a compliment, make no mistake. But our guys went in there with a lot of confidence and swag and really punched them in the face for that first half. And when that happens, that resonates with the staff, that resonates with the program. And so they were teed up to their credit, but our guys responded. We got up 10. Had one of those stretches, Jeff, in the second half to start that's just been a little bit of an Achilles heel. But there was a different vibe than there was Thursday night. I thought our guys competed for the better part of that game and were able to pull off another great victory for us.
There was a three from Tyree Edie. He's shooting 48% from three in Summit League play and 60% from three in his last 5, Coach.
Yeah, and it's a credit. He's putting in the work. And it's just a matter of, like, you're feeling it, right? He's gotten into a great rhythm with the game. Like I said, he's putting in the hours outside of the games, and that's how it is. Make no mistake about it. There's no secret to life. There's no secret to success. It's hard work, and give Tyree the credit for putting in the work.
Well, Rocky got going after a tough Thursday night. He always has responded after a tough game scoring-wise with 23 and a season-high 4 threes in this one.
Yeah, I mean, what we need from Rocky is just his best version, and that's nothing more than he was last year. It's nothing, obviously, less than he was last year, but you're seeing it, you know, just him being just different. I think Rocky's a dude, and he knows it. We know it. We need him to show up and just can be that consistent dude game in and game out, and I thought he was at that best version of himself, both at all levels, around the rim, on the glass a little bit, and certainly catching and shooting from three.
Physical finish there through contact by Sam Griesel as well. Rocky Cruiser, 23 points, 8 rebounds. Our Gate City Bank game recap in a 73-65 win over Denver. It was 47-46 Denver with just over 11 minutes to play in this ball game, and then your defense really clamped down, holding them to 3 of 13 shooting in the final 11 minutes of the game.
Yeah, I thought, again, I wasn't very happy with where we were at coming out of the gates in the second half, Jeff. I thought we were getting stops, but we weren't finishing the possessions, and that they made some shots. That gives them some confidence. Now some other shots look a little bit better to them. And again, to Denver's credit, they did it against UND a couple nights before. They're not going to quit. They're not going to back down. But our guys responded, and were able to finish business. Speaking
of Tyree Edie as well, 6 straight games in double-figure scoring. That ties a career long. So his next game, if he's able to do it, would be the longest streak of games in a row in double-figure scoring for the 5th-year senior. So
let's keep that going.
Knock on wood. There's your broadcaster jinx. It's not on me. It's not on me. All right, having a little fun with Coach. You see behind us, we take a play, get his thoughts, walk it through our Coach's Corner with David Richman. And we're taking a look. It's that 47-46 score late in the second half, about 11 minutes or so to go in the ball game. And you see some identification of this zone, and Jarius Cook has made big shots for you all season long when you needed them.
Well, you know, Denver, again, one of the things that they were doing that was throwing us for a little bit of a loop is they were changing between man and zone, and our guys being able to recognize it a little bit. And you can just see in this case just terrific spacing. And then the other thing that I love is we're playing off the catch, we're playing off of the pass. There's not a whole bunch of dribbling involved in this possession. It's a quick late shot clock play where we've got to execute a little bit. And the other thing, Jarius just really sticks his follow through, and that's a big thing for Jarius, but all young guys in the game. You know, that follow through is a big part of the shot. Jarius, again, is another guy that puts in the time, and that was a big shot for us at a timely moment.
And being ready, too. I mean, there's just a couple of passes in that clip, but that's sometimes all it takes in a close game like that.
Yeah, hands and feet. You know, great shooters, their execution of the shot is done before they even catch the ball, and that's footwork, that's the confidence and being ready to go. And again, like you said, of all the things, the spacing, this, that, and the other, that's a big shot based on the time and score of that game.
Yep. Coach, congratulations on a couple of big wins. Best of luck this week on the road in Macomb and at St. Paul.
Appreciate you, sir.
There you go. So head coach David Richman coming up next on the Bison Basketball Show. The NDSU women were back on the road. Omaha and Denver. And NDSU women's head coach Jory Collins stops by to break it all down next.
Oh, Bud Light Seltzer Retro tie-dye?
Have you tried these yet?
Bud Light Seltzer Retro tie-dye, the loudest flavors ever.
Another rock and roll weekend.
Burgers, better with Pepsi.
Better starts with convenience. Our 43 convenient locations make running errands easy. Better starts with trust. You can trust that your pre-approval is guaranteed on closing day, which is one less thing to worry about. Better starts with saving you money. No ATM fees and no minimum balances mean how you spend your money is up to you. Because at Gate City Bank, better starts with you. This means better ways to brighten your day. Gate City Bank, for a better way of life.
This one's for every sports fan who just spent the entire game explaining to someone the entire game. You've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar.
Oh, Bud Light Seltzer Retro Tie-Dye?
Have you tried these yet?
Bud Light Seltzer Retro Tie-Dye, the loudest flavors ever.
Rolling along here on the Bison Basketball Show. Rolling along in this season. Amazing to think there are 3 weekends left. That is all. Can you believe that?
It's really flown by.
Man.
It really has.
Crazy. 3 weekends left is all in this regular season. Summer League hoops action rolling along. Welcome in Jeff Culhane here with NDSU women's head coach Jory Collins. Coach, great to have you. Coming off the road, Omaha Thursday, Denver Saturday. And I know from a consistency standpoint overall, it's an item where you'd like it to be a little bit better right now with your squad, players, coaches, everybody all aligned in that same thought process, right?
There's no question. I thought, we got to UNO and maybe played the best 3 quarters we've played this year on both sides of the ball, Jeff. And we're able to play, they've played everybody close all year long. And I think at one point we had a 27-point lead in the 3rd quarter and are just rolling on both ends of the floor. And for whatever reason at Denver, 2 days later, we weren't able to sustain that and really struggled offensively at Denver. And this is maybe the best defensive weekend we've had. I thought we were pretty good game plan-wise on the defensive end against both teams and held them each to a number that should have been good enough for us to be 2-0. But we just couldn't buy a shot on Saturday. We had plenty of open looks. And some layups and some things where there was a lid on the basket and it was just too much for us to overcome.
Well, you're trying to gauge from one day to the next because, as we talked about with Coach Richman, you got Thursday and then you're traveling Friday. There's not a lot of time to turn it around, get a ton of prep in. You've already played Denver once before, so you're familiar with the squad, but it's quick to get everything on the right page and moving in the right direction.
Yeah, it's, we played UNO Thursday night, and then we slept there. We got up the next day to leave early to fly, to Denver. You get checked into your hotel. You try to get film and scouting report done, and then you're on your way to the gym to practice. We've always kept it pretty light on that Friday practice in between games, just to keep your legs, and it's a lot of a walkthrough. And now that you're playing teams for the second time, you know what's expected and who their players are and those kind of things. So you're just trying to get ready for the game the next day and try to be as fresh as possible.
Yep. Well, Thursday night in Omaha, as Coach talked about, the Bison women jumped all over the Mavericks at Baxter Arena. Your ladies were ready for this one, right? After what happened in the first meeting?
Yeah, we talked, I think, last week before. This was maybe one of our worst performances at home against UNO, and then we turned around, and I think we got up early, 15-2 in this game. Jeff, Ryan Cobbins was terrific. I think she started the game 4 for 4 in the first quarter, had 11 points. Katie Hildebrandt, you can see right there, came out, made 3 big threes in the game, and we had everybody firing. Emily Dietz scored, maybe went 6 for 6 in that game. Heaven Hamling was super efficient as she's been. But it was a total team effort on both sides of the ball. I thought the execution on both sides of the ball was really good. And it was fun. I think it's time where we were playing and everybody was enjoying it. And the bench was excited, players were excited. It was a really good experience for some of our younger guys to get out there and make some plays. But we go as our big three go, and Ryan and Heaven and Dietz were all really good in that game.
Yep, and specifically Ryan. I know you expect a lot out of her, and she's capable of games like this. She's also had a few games where the ball hasn't fallen in the basket for her the way she's capable of, and it showed how she plays in a lot of ways. You guys are going to be set up to win very well.
Yeah, and it's, you hate to say, hey, that's a lot of pressure on an individual, is if you play well, we're probably going to win. If you don't, we're going to be in a game. But that's part of being a good player. That's part of being somebody who's a competitor. She was really good in this game, got to play in front of her parents in this game. I think, it was pretty steady all the way through, and it was just pretty special on that day.
Gate City Bank game recap, a win, an impressive win at Omaha for Jory Collins and his Bison women's team, 69-53. You see the numbers from Ryan Cobbins, 17-5. Heaven Hamlin, always going to get you a bucket, 14-6 overall. You mentioned your defensive effort. And Omaha as a squad, again, a year ago, upset NDSU in the 1-8 game. A lot of these same players back. They've been in almost every game they've played, battling all along, and you go out there and stomp them from the get-go. Walk me through your defensive effort and the execution on that end of the floor.
Yeah, and you see the number they had, 53. I think we gave up 24. We kind of struggled at the beginning of the fourth quarter. We gave up 24 points in the fourth quarter. If that's even an average quarter, we hold those guys to mid-40s or lower. Just the execution, our ball screen defense was really good. Our communication on that end of the floor was really good. We didn't give up any easy baskets. I think in the first game, their freshman guard had 25 of 10 of 15. We really made a concerted effort to make it difficult for her and let her know that that's not a normal outing against us, and it's going to be a little bit harder that day. And I think we held her to 4 points total. So a really good comeback defensively and just mindset-wise for our team against them.
Yeah, great start to the weekend for Jory Collins and the NDSU women right there. A 69-53 winner over the Omaha Mavericks down at Baxter Arena. When we come back on the Bison Basketball Show, we'll take a quick peek at that game at Denver and also look ahead to a home weekend coming up here at the Shield Center. Stay tuned.
Oh, Bud Light Seltzer Retro tie-dye?
Have you tried these yet?
Bud Light Seltzer Retro tie-dye, the loudest flavors ever.
To living life wide open, the Seaboys know performance is key. Whether it's on the road or off it, they count on Firestone tires to keep them going. When buying tires or adding some style, they know exactly where to head. OK Tire and Service. With expert technicians, friendly customer service, and a large selection of Firestone tires. Make the rest a no-can-do with OK Tire.
Ag Country offers a wide range of internal growth. If you have a goal in mind and you put your mind to it, your successes can be endless.
There are so many jobs within this company that you can rotate into.
I like challenges. Ag Country gives me challenges.
Yeah, Ag Country is a great place to work. There's plenty of flexibility. You're never tied to your desk. There's a team here that is always there for you.
Yeah, grab your role and run with it. And always be aware of the opportunities because they're in front of you.
Bud Light Seltzer Retro tie-dye?
Have you tried these yet?
Bud Light Seltzer Retro tie-dye, the loudest flavors ever.
And welcome back to the Bison Basketball Show. Coach, again, quick turnaround. You go from Omaha right into Denver. We'll go right into the highlights here. A Denver team that you took care of business with at home in the Shield Center in the month of January. And the offense was there early Thursday. For whatever reason, it didn't travel with you early on Saturday.
It's like we used it up, Jeff. We had, we started this game maybe 3 of 17 in the first quarter. And when I say we had some really good looks, I feel like we had some really good open threes, some layups at the basket that we just squeezed off a little bit and didn't finish. And it became a struggle. It became a struggle to score. Again, I thought we played. If you would have told me in this game that we were going to hold Eswedu to 13 points, and that Boyd wouldn't make a three after the first quarter, I would have said we win this game probably going away. But we haven't struggled like that on offense in a really long time, and it makes it hard to win road games when you do that.
Take a look at the Gate City Bank game recap. Battling at the end, and not only that, I think Coach and Heaven Hamlin again 14-6. Abby Schulte picking up on the offensive end with 12 points, but it almost becomes with that kind of a start. I think it was 7-32 in the first half and 0-6 in the first quarter from three. And we were talking off air. Great looks. Excellent looks. It becomes maybe a little mental for you as the game goes along.
It does, and we did a good job battling. We cut it to 5, really late in the third or right at the beginning of the fourth, and you felt like, hey, all we need is one more stop. They happened to get a 3 in transition that kind of took the wind out there of that little comeback. But when you're just not making baskets, it becomes difficult. We played good enough defense. We didn't rebound good enough in that game for us to maybe overcome that. And it was maybe a little more frustrating playing so well at UNO and then kind of having a dud Saturday. We're really trying to get ourselves going here down the stretch and just missed an opportunity to put back-to-back dubs together.
Know what might be able to help? Home games.
Home games.
There you go. Back at home this week for Jory Collins and the NDSU women. Thursday, Western Illinois, 7 p.m. And the Leathernecks, that was a game earlier this year, Coach, you needed on the road after a tough one at St. Thomas. You went there and got it against J.D. Gravina's squad as they come back now.
Yeah, and they're a different style team. Really dribble drive and a ton of threes. Pretty scattered offensively. You got to cover everybody out on the perimeter and play a lot of 5-out, take your bigs away from the basket, but always a really good matchup with those guys.
And then Saturday, St. Thomas returns. You'd like to return the favor, I know, after the matchup at St. Paul.
Yeah, I loved how we responded, against UNO after not playing well against them early. This was probably the other game that everybody would have liked to have back. So we're looking forward to having those in there guys come back and chance to redeem ourselves. It's also, we're going to have an alumni game that weekend, our alumni back.
Yep.
Got a good turnout for that, so we want to put on a good performance for those guys as well.
That's an afternoon tip Saturday right here on WDAY Extra as Dom Izzo, Amy Rulli, Logan Campbell on the call. It's an afternoon tip on Saturday, 1 p.m. as the Bison women take on St. Thomas. Coach, quick thought here before we go away.
Just excited to be home again. 2 in a row. Here, we're trying to gain some momentum going to the conference tournament, and I know our players are looking forward to it, and so are we.
Coach, appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
He's Jory Collins. I'm Jeff Culhane. Thanks for watching the Bison Basketball Show. Have a great night.
The Bison Basketball Show is presented by Gate City Bank for a better way of life.
This has been an exclusive presentation from Learfield.